Hello, this is Matt, the host of the show, and you're probably looking at your feed wondering what's going on because it's not Tuesday. This episode isn't a full-length episode, and you may be wondering what's going on. And I can just say that based on the way the game ended against Everton, based on the other results, kind of how that sets things up for Tuesday, I felt that it was important to address that now before the match. And so Harry Holder and I did that. We spoke Sunday evening or Saturday evening, I should say, and got that taken care of. And obviously we didn't spend the entire time because what will happen is we will give you the other half of this episode on Wednesday or Thursday sometime after the Swansea game is done. After I get it all edited, I will have another guest on. We'll sit down. We'll discuss that game and what it means for Sunday. And I just felt that it was the right thing to do based on how everything is holding up. So without any further ado, here's your intro music and my conversation with Harry Holder about the Everton match and what it means for the rest of the season, which is only 2 games. But anyway, hope you're doing better than we were yesterday, post whatever that was. All right, here's the episode. Hope you enjoy it. You're listening to the Southampton Delivery Podcast, a podcast dedicated to the Southampton Football Club and all of the SFC fans.
We just got to go out and express ourselves.
Fonte with a scooping header.
We just got to get the job done. I'm here to get the job done.
It's infield to Mane, 25 yards out. Lovely ball for Bella. Onside, 1-0. Buffon shot. Oh my word.
Unbelievable. He ran around a bit like Bambi on ice. It was very, very embarrassing to watch.
And now, your host, Matt Markstone. We'd like to welcome you to the special edition of the Southampton Delivery Podcast, maybe a special delivery if we want to get super cheesy with it. And joining me on today's show is Harry Holder from the Saints Report. He's on Twitter at Nadal-esque, but when you spell it out, it's N-A-D-A capital I-E-S-Q-U-E. And we're basically here because of the way the fixtures break down and how kind of everything worked itself out on this is the Saturday evening that we're recording this. Because of the way it all worked out, there's just so much that happened and so much that will happen as a result, based on Tuesday's result, that we figured we need to sit down and sort this out, and then we'll come back with another similarly lengthed episode on Tuesday. So this is a special edition of the podcast, basically episode 69 and a half. We'll be back with the full rest of episode 70 on Tuesday or Wednesday after the Swansea match. So Harry, thanks for joining me again, and thanks for, as always, helping me out via the Saints Report and all that.
Oh yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on. Much to talk about, I suppose. Yeah,
absolutely. It was, I was out and I was at my kids' games and kind of listening on the website and listened to the first half that way. Had to shut it off for the second half, and then kind of turned it on right after Redmond scored. I was made aware of the score, and so I kind of watched the last 15 or 20 minutes kind of unfold, and we'll get to all of that. But let's just start with maybe some of the results earlier today, because of course we come into today in the relegation zone, knowing we have 3 games left to kind of save our season, knowing that we have Man City next weekend, and that's probably not the best thing to try and expect points at that from that match. But going into today, Stoke loses the early kickoff to Crystal Palace. They get relegated immediately. West Brom shock everybody maybe in beat Spurs. So they are now still technically safe, even though, as long as if we draw with Swansea, then they would go down. And then the rest of the results, maybe other than West Ham, don't really affect us that much. West Ham maybe have pulled clear at this point, but I don't know, looking at that Stoke result, knowing that Stoke is now relegated and that they also play Swansea next Saturday, the last game of the season, since Stoke are gone, does that maybe put a little bit more pressure on Southampton going into Tuesday? And we'll get to the Everton match in just a second.
Yeah, I really think it does. I think there's one place to play for now. Is realistically, if us, Swansea and Huddersfield, they're starting to fight, but they're just going to run out of games, and everyone's got games in hand, so it's wanting to make it. So, I mean, that the way I see Tuesday night now, that's an all or nothing. Whoever, if there is a winner, whoever loses, in my opinion, is going to go down. So it's literally everything. Our whole season is on Tuesday. That 90 minutes is the start and end of our season.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you. It's going to be, I don't know. I guess we'll get to how the guys have to be feeling at this point, and going into that match and what their mentality will be like, as we talk about the Everton match. But going into this, I kind of looked at it on, I want to say maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, kind of what we needed to do with this match or these next two matches, and kind of assuming we don't get anything from City. I don't want to have to rely on points from that City match at the end of the season, because I don't see us getting any. So you kind of look and say, if Huddersfield don't get any points, then 4 points should do it. And so we got the draw at Everton, which Goodison has been a horrible place for us to go play the history of the Premier League. So going in there and getting a point, if you just saw the score, you didn't see when the goals were scored or how it came about, you would say, oh, that's okay. And now there's a lot of pressure on the Swansea game, and we kind of expected that. But I think that the way it all unfolded kind of makes it feel a lot worse than that.
Yeah, I really can't disagree with that, because we haven't won at Goodison something like 20 years now. It's been a horrible place. We never seem to play well there. If you saw the score, didn't know when the goals were scored, you think, okay, that's a good point, I'll take that. At the start of the game, before kick-off, I would have said, yeah, I'll take the draw now, because we never play well there. It seems to be a bit of Everton are a bit of a bogey team for us away from home. So getting a point, I mean, that could be a crucial point. But to be so close to winning, literally seconds away, and just have those 2 points taken away from us, it's devastating. If we could still go down now. We could go down because we haven't won that game, and I'm just lost for words.
Yeah, I was sitting watching it with my brother. I normally I can watch all the matches on TV. It's not a big deal. This one was on like NBC, and so that's like the big station, and there's not always a replay for that one. So I had two separate people actually TiVo it or record it for me so I could go watch it. But then it just wound up that I knew the score. I listened to the first half, and so I just want to watch the last, basically 15-20 minutes live. And man, I don't know how I would have felt had I chosen to, wait till tonight to watch it and just watch it by myself, because I don't know how I would have felt kind of being off of Twitter and not being kind of present for the kind of reaction that was there. But my brother, I don't think he's seen me that kind of distraught over a sporting event in quite some time. And he was kind of like, okay, like now are you going to leave? Because I feel like you're in a really bad mood. So at the start of the game, I think, like we said, we both would have taken a point. You look at the formation going into a match, and it kind of looked like we were playing for a draw, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because against Bournemouth last week, we were 5-2-3 pretty much with Redmond's gone out of the side, Højbjerg's come in 5-3-2. It looks much more defensive, as you would expect. As we're away from home, we will probably be on the back a lot more than we would be if we were at home. So I can understand why bringing in Højbjerg and just shoring up the midfield a bit more. And yeah, it did look like we were playing for a draw, especially, the way the first half went. Neither side really got into the game. Neither side got going at all. It was lots of just passing across the back line. Both teams getting it up towards the edge of the box, but no real final delivery. And I think going into half time, you would have probably, if you asked, would you take a draw, you would have probably said no, because we can go out and win this. We just need one chance, and we so nearly got it. But yeah, I think it was very much set out for this point, and maybe if we can nick something on the break and get us 3 points, and I have no complaints with that. It's probably exactly what I would have done as well, to be honest.
I guess there are a couple of things you can maybe take into consideration when you're selecting the team. Is these guys they had to fly, or I guess they flew up to Liverpool. They're gonna have to they're turn around now, fly back after a match, and then basically have 1 day to rest, maybe 1 day to game plan, and then probably go to Swansea, on Tuesday and be ready to play a really big match. So you look at guys like, I was thinking about guys like Cedric and Bertrand, who I think have to play. There's no way they can't play. But then you look at the midfield, Romeu and Højbjerg and Lemina. Are they going to be able to do that again on Tuesday night? If they were all to be in, I would have thought that Højbjerg would have been left out, and then maybe he would have come in for Lemina or Romeu on Tuesday. Maybe you kind of split that a little bit. I guess if we would have won today, Swansea would have tried to win against us on Tuesday, because there's no way a draw would have helped point. So then I think you can play Long, you can play Redmond, and you can try to hit them on the break because they're going to be open. Now, based on the result, I think that our team selection may have to change, because I think it's going to be very even, because I think now Swansea has a bit of an advantage over us, simply because they play Stoke on the last day of the season and we have to go play City. So if we draw and then if we draw on Tuesday and then they manage to get a draw or win against Stoke, I think that puts them a bit in the driver's seat, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. I think there was a certain amount of let's not go for it in the way that we went for it against Bournemouth. Against Bournemouth, everyone busted a gut, everyone put in 100%. They were all absolutely knackered at the end, and I think we had to get a balance between that and saving our energy for Swansea, because they had two massive games, and we couldn't just go all out against Southampton, because we'd be knackered, as you say, there to come back, and then they've got to go away to Swansea again, and we need to have still good enough energy levels to put up a fight against Swansea and get a result there. And yeah, as you say, I would probably go for a 5-3-2 again, and I would, depending on the fitness of Lemina, I would go for the same three: Højbjerg, Mayu, Lemina. I think they worked well today. Obviously, with Lemina going off injured and at half time, I just hope he's fit enough to start against Swansea. He was looking very good. He was looking sharp against Everton. He was immense. I think he could be the key, because when he turns up, he can completely boss the midfield. And we're going to need that. It's going to be very tense. It's going to be a very cagey game. Probably both teams will probably take quite a while to get into the game. And I think we just need someone with the presence of Lemina to, just get the ball in the midfield, start going forward, take control, because that's what we need to do on Tuesday. We need to take control right from the very start. Otherwise, we're not going to get the win.
Right. And so I saw that he was substituted, and then Redmond came on, but I didn't realize he was injured. Did they make the switch at halftime, or did he come out for the second half?
No, it was straight at halftime. But he was looking injured at a certain point in the first half, and then he was playing on, but he was still hobbling around. And then there was one point about 5 minutes before halftime where we were all just saying, get him off now. It's not worth it. These 4 minutes could put him out of the Swansea game. We can't risk that. We can't take any risks to play his fitness right now. We have to have everyone as fit as they can possibly be. So I would take him off then, but he seemed to do okay for those 4 minutes or however long it was. And yeah, it just went on for half time. But it didn't look a serious injury that was going to keep him out for more than, I don't know, a few games. So I just hope that it's nothing serious and it was just a precaution.
Yeah, that's the hope. And then also, maybe that saves his legs a little bit, that maybe this actually will do us some good if he is able to kind of fully recover from whatever that injury is. But, we had injuries earlier in the season and it kept sidelining for a while. So hopefully that it's not the case. Anything really of note before halftime, or is the real first big talking point of the second half even just the goal from Redmond that put us ahead, which, I guess he's struggled for goals so much this season. I mean, he hasn't scored yet. This was his first one, but it's been almost a year since he scored a goal for us in the Premier League. But I don't know, is that really the first thing that stands out to you in terms of what happened in the second half?
Yeah, I think that Redmond goal was the first. There was the only thing in the first half that stands out for me was that Austin volley, which picked the save. It was a routine. It was a good effort, but it was a routine save. So there were no real big chances. And yeah, that Redmond chance, I think it was Cedric's first good cross of the game. Redmond coming in at the back post, completely unmarked, and it was a very good header. Down at Victor's feet, got it pretty much perfect. I'm really pleased with Redmond because he has had a very tough season. A lot of fans have been on his back with piling us a bit unfair, booing him as soon as he's come on, which I don't understand. And I'm really pleased for him that he got that goal because when he turns up, he's a good player for us. Getting forward down the wing, he's this real burst of pace. He's got energy that we sometimes miss up the top. And so I think once he gets going, he can be a good player. So I think he's putting in the performances now, which is good because that's when we need people to perform most.
his confidence has been shot for some time now. And I think you look at guys like him and Tadic, who didn't enjoy a lot of success under Pellegrino or under Puel. And you see there's a bit more energy in them under Mark Hughes. And I think there's some encouragement there to go kind of do what you're good at instead of, trying to play this rigid system that kind of sucks all the life and creativity out of you. If you can go express yourself a little bit, I think that really does help guys like Redmond and Tadic to really to thrive and to show what they really are able to do. And to see him make that run and get into a position like that and then finish off a fairly difficult header because the ball's coming across. You have Pickford coming right out at him, making himself big, and he manages to head it down between his legs and into the goal. And at that point, I have to say, I think we were all feeling pretty good about that,
Yeah, it was just pure jubilation when Redmond scored because, we thought, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the time we win. We were playing well up until that point. Everton really still hadn't got going in the match. And you just thought, this could be it. If we get the 3 points here, this is massive. And yeah, as you say, with players like Tadic, they have been allowed to, they have more freedom under Hughes, express themselves a bit more because it was a very rigid style of play under Pellegrino. They weren't really had to sort of press on forward, take players on because it was all too slow starting from the back. And I just feel that it's coming good that we have these players like Tadic and Redmond that can sort of almost create a chance out of nothing, beat a player, make the pass. And that's what we've missed. We've missed the creativity up the top. And Tadic, let's be honest, these past 2 seasons, I think even he'll admit that he hasn't been great. I think he's missed Pella a bit. But it's good to see him these last weeks getting more goals, getting further forward, really helping out the striker. And I think the key to that is because he's playing more down the middle. Under Koeman, he was very much central at times. That's when he got lots of his assists with dribbles and passes into Pella. And I think that's where he thrives, down the middle. So to have him in the middle with the natural playmaker role and have someone else like Redmond out there, be a man, get to the line, cross it in. I think it's a very good setup that we've got now under Mark Hughes.
Yeah, I think he's starting to figure out how this team plays best. And it's nice to finally get a manager to do that because for a while, I had even said that, if you have a couple of managers come in and make the same decision about how the team plays and where certain players are positioned and things like that, then maybe it's not the manager. Maybe it is something to do with the players. Maybe there's, and I'm sure there are questions both ways because I am not trying to defend Puel or Pellegrino at all because I don't think either of them were a good fit for the club. But at the time, just kind of looking at it, maybe, if you have a couple of people come in and say that these players have to play this way because they're just not good enough, or in hindsight, in reality, I think it's just Pellegrino and Puel like to play the same style of football as one another, and it just didn't work. Now you have a guy who can play a little bit more free flowing, maybe a guy who was an attacker and who wants guys to go out and do that, and maybe that's helping. But after the goal, we make a substitution for Ward-Prowse for Tadic, and I think once again that's to save some legs because Tadic is going to need to play on Tuesday. Ward-Prowse comes in, and I think his first kind of job is to put in a corner, and then from shortly after that we substitute Austin off for Long. And I think at this point, we're kind of starting to go back and defend a little bit more. We realize we have a 1-0. We have a massive 3 points that would have actually put us level on points with Huddersfield, but ahead of them on goal difference. And I think that would have put some added pressure on them going into their game tomorrow against City, which I think could have helped. And so with those substitutions having been made, that's all 3 substitutions. At that point, how are you thinking that we're going to be able to hold on, that we have what it takes with those guys on the pitch to defend the lead and things like that?
At this point, I'm just so nervous. It's always the same with the Saints. There's always, we could either be brilliant and hold on really well like we did against Bournemouth, or we could make a silly mistake and let them have a chance to score. So you really can't tell. But I just thought Everton hadn't been pushing forward too much until after we got the goal. They hadn't really found Tosin in the box, and I just thought we were going to hold on. I thought we were going to do it because they hadn't been creating the opportunities. Defensively, we'd been quite good. We haven't really let them have the chances either. So I thought we were going to hold on. And yeah, the substitutions after we scored was all about just keeping the lead. We didn't have to go and score another. We didn't have to go out and attack. We could sit back a little bit more, invite a little bit more pressure, and then try and get one on the break with Redmond and Long. And that's what we tried to do. So I think they were good substitutions by Mark Hughes. It was just so terribly unlucky that we just couldn't hold on right until the very end. And it was no one's fault, really, that Tom Davies got that shot away. Took an unlucky deflection or two, but that's just the way football goes. But I think it really is.
Yeah. That last 10 minutes, like you said, super tense. Kind of on. I'm on the edge of my seat. It's cliche, but that's really how I was sitting in my. I knew Yoshida was on a yellow card, and he came in and he was very late on that challenge, and he gets sent off. And I think that at that point, I think you can start to see like there's the leader on the pitch in terms of our back line gone. Because even though Bertrand's wearing the captain's armband, I don't think he's the guy telling people where to go. I don't think he's the guy who is organizing that back line. I still think that's Yoshida. And Yoshida for so many seasons was guilty of one big mistake a game. And I think he had kind of cut that out for the most part this season, but today that second challenge, that's something that he does so often where he gets too close. He tries to come in and get too close to a defender and winds up, or to an offensive player and winds up committing a foul, giving away a free kick. And this just happened to be his second yellow. And now that's a big deal because now if we're going to play a back three or a back five against Swansea, it's going to be Bednarak, who's been fine, Stevens and Hoedt. And that's just a very young, inexperienced back line in, the biggest game of our season.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yoshida, he always used to be the scapegoat for fans every time we played. Yoshida's playing at the back, he's going to make a mistake. And unfortunately, a lot of the time he did. He definitely had a mistake in it, but his past 2 seasons, he's gotten much better, and he has grown into being the leader of this back line now. And as you say, Bertrand, he's wearing the armband, but he's not really the one to be pulling the line, organising the defence, and you can see that in Yoshida. And biggest game of the season on Tuesday against Swansea. Stevens coming in, he's done okay, but as you say, it's very inexperienced. There is no real leader out of the 3, Stevens, Hoedt and Bednarak. I just think we really will miss him, and we will probably miss him more than most people think.
Yeah, I was just going to say there's not a ton of a difference in quality, I wouldn't say, between those 3 defenders. I would say they're all kind of, or those 4 defenders, I guess. They're all kind of right in the same area. But it's just the leadership quality that Yoshida has that the other 3 don't quite possess just because they're so young. So that's the only thing that I would worry about going forward. And Yoshida is actually faster than the other 3. So that, pace wise, I think that might be a worry, but I'm not sure if Swansea are really going to test that or not. We'll have to see. But then going into stoppage time, you can kind of see it took a second for everybody to kind of get organized. And then we were just sitting deep. And at one point, I think you had Long making a tackle in the spot where Cedric should have been. Long was all the way back defending. And then I think a really big moment in the match was Hoedt coming out and attempting that tackle and missing and giving away a free kick. I don't think he got booked for it, which I think was fortunate. But it set up I think it was Leighton Baines to take that free kick, and that save from McCarthy. That again, much different than last week, but still diving to that side, diving to his left, and that ball was going top corner. I don't know if you how many replays you've seen of that, but that was the equalizer that he managed to keep out. And I thought it was just a great anticipation from him, maybe a great reaction as well, to get up there and save that.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable save. When Hoedt's given that free kick away, it is literally perfect for Leighton Baines. When he's seen that Hoedt's given away, he must have been thinking, right, here it is, here's my chance, I'm going to score. An inch perfect free kick. I mean, we all know Baines is so good at those set piece deliveries, especially from free kicks. He's scored countless times from those throughout his career, but McCarthy got it spot on. And again, he's made a world-class save that could have won us the match, but unfortunately it didn't.
One thing I always worry about, whether it's my team that I'm playing on or coaching or watching, it happens is you get something like that and you still have time left. You know, that wasn't the end of the match. There were still other things to do, and you worry about maybe there's a fine line between a celebration that pumps everybody up further and a celebration that takes everybody's mind kind of off of what's really happening. And I don't think that happened today. I think everybody on the team was switched on 100%. And as those crosses were coming in, McCarthy, you can see him growing in confidence, coming and punching balls, gathering balls. I thought the game was going to be over when Højbjerg had the ball all the way down the other end of the pitch. You know, I thought that was going to be it because we were approaching the 4 minutes of stoppage time that was there. But eventually, I think there was maybe an injury to Cedric. He was down for a minute that may have added some time. But eventually the ball comes down and there's balls going across the box. And I don't know who put the ball in for Everton, but the ball came across. I'm not sure anybody got a touch to it. Maybe McCarthy got a little bit on it. And so Bertrand is going to hold it in and actually just get it, I think, as far down the pitch as possible. You know, it doesn't matter if it goes out of bounds. It just needs to go far away. And unfortunately for him, he hits it right at an Everton player. He takes a touch. Eventually it falls to Davies, who doesn't make the cleanest of strikes as he is. He's hitting it into a wall of bodies. He's hitting it straight down the middle. It's kind of a hit and hope. You hope that it takes a deflection because otherwise it's not beating anybody. McCarthy was committed and had the ball saved, but it hits off Hoedt and takes a deflection and goes the other way. And you can see the devastation on everybody's face there. Hoedt falls to the ground. There are a couple other players kind of hunched over, and at that point you got to think Yoshida feels terrible, knowing he was sent off. McCarthy looks devastated because he had done all of the things that he needed to do to keep us in the match. And then we lost it, then there goes 2 points. And I saw a lot of people online getting upset with the referee for the amount of stoppage time that was there, for how long he allowed Everton to play. I'm not going to lie and say I'm not in the same boat. I was pretty upset with the fact I'm yelling, blow the whistle, let's go, it's over. But it doesn't happen. So I don't know if you have anything that you'd like to say about the goal or the referee or anything like that happened during stoppage time.
Yeah, just when the ball's come across, McCarthy's missed the punch from out to Bertrand. If McCarthy hasn't got a punch of it, that's going to be our throw. So if that's the case, why doesn't he just let that roll out for a throw in? We can get the ball, get it out of the pitch properly, and of course it's going to waste more time if you're trying to take a throw. But if he has got a touch, then he has to clear it. And Bertrand's just passed it almost straight to the Everton player, almost as if he's on his team. And all he's got to do there is just put his foot straight through it, just hit it as hard as he can, put everything into that. Because if that goes up the pitch, it's almost certain that the referee would probably blow for full time there, because you always see it's full time when it's a goal kick or it's around the halfway line. So
right,
probably would have blown there. He's just got to put absolutely everything into it. Just smash it down the pitch as hard as you can, instead of just trying to play maybe a bit more tactical, maybe a bit more safe. And he's got it wrong, and unfortunately it's cost us. But you can't really pull the blame of Bertrand, because when Davies has hit it, yeah, as you said, it's not a clean contact. I think if it hadn't have taken a deflection, McCarthy would have gathered it anyway. It looked like he had it covered, and it's just cruel deflection on Hoedt. And about the referee at the time, I was so angry at the time, heat of the moment. It's just happened. You can't believe what's just happened. You're upset, you're frustrated, and it is easy to, go and blame the referee, say, there was only 4 minutes added on, but the goal was scored in the 95th or 96th or whatever it was. But, I even put a tweet out about it, how the game should have been finished. But looking back on it, like you said, there was that Cedric injury. There were other times where the ball went out of play. So I think time-wise, as much as it pains me to say it was probably okay. But I think Bertrand's the most to blame for conceding a goal. But as I said, you can't really blame anyone for the deflection. You can't blame Hoedt, because it's just come at him. He can't do anything about it. It's just hit him and gone in. It's one of those things. I just hope that conceding that late goal hasn't deflated the players. It hasn't got them upset. I hope it just motivates them more. They say, come on, we've been unlucky. We were so close there. We're not going to let that get us down. We have to go to Swansea and we're going to give it our all. We're going to fight till the very end and we're going to get that win.
Yeah, I think you hit on something there in that if we go and we hold out, maybe Everton score first, maybe Everton score in the 15th minute. We come back and tie it with Redmond's goal. We hold on for a 1-1. I think the feeling around the club is much different. And now is when I think Hughes or somebody else in the locker room needs to be able to redirect everybody's attention to the job we still have to do, and to use the 90 minutes plus 5 that we were either even or ahead in the game in terms of our performance today, and take that and build on that for Tuesday and use that as motivation for Tuesday. Because this was, I hate to say it, but we've been punished all season, one by calls that were missed by the referees, and two by little mistakes that we've made. And Yoshida getting sent off, I love him, but that puts us in a bad spot. That gives Everton just a little bit more, knowing that they're now working against 10 men for the rest of the match, even though it's not long. Bertrand just failing to get the ball clear. I don't care if you kick it straight out of bounds there. He probably doesn't know whether McCarthy got a touch on it or not. So he's got to do something. And I appreciate that, because there's some effort to get to that ball that he hasn't necessarily shown all season, and for him to do that and just get it wrong, you feel for him, but that's still a mistake. We got lucky, I think, with Hoedt giving away that free kick on the edge of the area. Just things like that. But we were punished today by that. And you have to hope that Hughes can kind of just redirect everybody's attention, and focus and say, that had to feel huge for the guys to lose it that way. That has to be deflating, because I mean, we're talking now and we're deflated a little bit in terms of how we feel about it. So I can only imagine what it was like to be on the pitch. And if you looked at everybody that was going over to clap the fans and everything else, nobody looked like, we just got a really important point. Everybody looked like we just lost 2 really important points, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's certainly a case of 1.1 for 2 points lost. And I hope Hughes goes into the dressing room. He says to the players that what's done is what's done. We can't change the result. We've got a point. We've got to take the positives from that. Take our performance up. Well, we played well. We were in the game for the whole time. We took the lead through a well-taken, good team goal. We've got to use those positives. Think of the positives. Don't let the bad things get you down. Because, we need this team spirit. We need this positive energy. And I hope, as soon as tonight, now they've all put it behind them. They're all thinking, right, we've got a massive game on Tuesday. We've got to be fully 100% focused on that. We can't dwell on the past. We've got to move on. It's done. We've got to completely focus on Swansea now. We've got to get the 3 points, nothing less. We won't settle for anything less.
So now, looking kind of ahead to the Swansea match, I don't know if you were able to watch them play against Bournemouth today or not. I had it on. I didn't watch the whole thing. I would say that maybe they were they were attacking plenty, but they didn't look like they really tested the keeper very much. I think he made a few important saves early on, but I think after that it was pretty lackluster, pretty lackluster game overall. But they're gonna be at home. You're gonna be in the crowd in the away section, so you'll be able to better gauge how that goes. But I think it'll be difficult for us in terms of going there and getting a result, even though they're not playing well at all. I think the new manager bounce, if that's a thing, has worn off. They're struggling to put away chances, and I think we are playing the best we've played all season right now, and so I think that bodes well for us. But it does pose a bit of an issue because now we don't have a cushion kind of going in there. Now this is a must win, and it's a must win for them as well. And looking at the rest of the fixtures, Huddersfield, based on whatever they do tomorrow, they could go 3 points clear of us. They could stay where they're at, or they could kind of, I think if they manage to beat City tomorrow, I think they're gone. I don't think we catch them. I think now Tuesday is just more important because it's either Swansea or us. And then the fact that Swansea have Stoke after that, I think gives them an advantage because they know they can go there. Or they can go into that match knowing that if they need a point or 3, they can do it. Whereas we're going to have a much tougher task ahead of us against Man City.
Yeah, we've got to look at it. We've got to almost completely write off on the game. We're almost certain to not get a point even from that Man City quality side. We just won't be able to cope with them. Well, we've just got to assume that we're going to get nothing from that. We're going to lose that one. So this is it. This is, as I see it, this is our final game of the season against Swansea. This is it. This is the one that will decide whether we go up or we go down. And Swansea having Stoke on the final day of the season, that could go either way for me. So, as you say, Swansea aren't playing well. The new manager balance is definitely worn off. Stoke they got relegated today, so they could either be down completely and Swansea could rip them apart, or they could be thinking it's our last Premier League game. We've got nothing to play for, and their players might be a little bit more relaxed, so they might play with a bit more freedom and actually try Swansea. But we can't take anything for granted. We can't say, Stoke are going to go and get a point against Swansea, or Huddersfield's last 3 games. They're playing City tomorrow, and then they've got Chelsea and Arsenal. I don't think they'll get anything against City or Chelsea, but Arsenal, we know they can be shaky at times. Arsenal are away from home, Huddersfield at home. Arsenal haven't been good away from home, so Huddersfield could even get something from that. We saw Brighton and just been Man U, and so anything goes. So we've just got to think, put all the other results aside, focus on this and see this as, if we win, we stay up. If we get anything less, we draw. So just focus on this game. Don't worry about any other game.
I mean, the best thing about it is the fact that we are ahead of Swansea now, based on goal difference. So from here on out, it's a fair fight. If we can beat them, then we're ahead, and they have to. At that point, I think we're okay. We just, if we can, even if we lose, they would have to win their game against Stoke by a number of goals, I think, to jump ahead of us. Whereas if we draw, I think that's unacceptable. I think we have to go out there and win. And maybe I'm misreading the table. I really hope I'm not, because I'm going to feel like an idiot. But based on the fact that we're even, if we go to 36 points, they would have to win by a number of goals, because our goal difference is I think 7 better than theirs. So I think like you said, it all kind of boils down to Swansea, and then we don't worry about it. That's what it is. That's where all the focus is. That's where all the energy is. We can analyze all the situations that would involve Huddersfield. Best case scenario is that Chelsea beats Liverpool tomorrow, has something to play for against Swansea, or against Huddersfield on Wednesday. But we'll see about all of that. But Harry, thank you for doing this. Special edition of the podcast, kind of emergency edition of the podcast, almost, based on what happened today. But as of now, We are outside the relegation zone. It doesn't feel like that because of how it happened and how it went down. But, this is the highest we've been in the table, I want to say in like 6 or 8 weeks. I could be wrong, but I'm just off the top of my head. I think that's about what it is. So thanks for joining me, man. And appreciate it. And thanks for running the Saints Report with all the other guys that you guys do a great job. And you can find you on Twitter at Nadal-esque. Only the L is a capital I. It looks like an L. I thought it was an L. That's why I couldn't find you earlier. I was trying to type your name in, but anyway, thanks for joining me. And any last words or thoughts?
Just thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure. It's been good to talk about the game. And just fully focus on this point now and not wait. As you say, it's going to be a really good day. Everything is at stake. And I think we can beat them. We win and we stay up. And I think and I hope we do that.
Yeah, I think the guys have responded well the past few weeks, which I was worried about them knowing that these games are so big and there is so much pressure on them. But they've played well in each of the kind of the big matches. Maybe take out the FA Cup semifinal. So under Hughes, I think there is something different about the team, which I hope continues, and I hope we can do it. But safe travels as you head over to Wales on the coach. So enjoy it and. Be loud. I won't be there, but I'll be there in spirit.
Yeah, of course. We march on.
And that does it for episode 69 and a half, the special delivery, Southampton delivery podcast. Thanks as ever to Harry Holder for joining me. You can find him on Twitter at Nadal-esque, but the L is actually a capital I. And it'll actually just be easier if you just look in the show notes and click on it, and that'll take you straight to his page. Harry also helps run the Saints Report, which is partners with this show on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. For all your Southampton FC news and needs, be sure to check out the Saints Report on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. You will not be disappointed. The artwork for the show is done by Matt Beeling of the We Are Southampton page on Instagram. For all your matchday edits, polls, competitions, and more, be sure to check out the We Are Southampton page on Instagram. It's got some amazing stuff on it. You can get in touch with this show at SFCDELL_IVERY on Twitter or Instagram. And we're also on Facebook at facebook.com/SFCDelIvery. There is no underscore in the Facebook address. Now, going into Everton, I think a lot of us would have taken a point, but coming out of the first half, as Harry pointed out, maybe we thought we could have gotten 3. Then when we went ahead, and then to lose it like we did, it hurts. But going forward, we have to stick together. We have to be behind the team. This is so vital now that we're so close to the end that we just have to stay focused. We have to stay on it. And I can't fault the players for the effort they put forward today. Mistakes happen, but as long as you're giving your full effort, I think that's all we can ask for. I don't know why I'm talking about that in the exit or outro of this. I'm just supposed to be talking about music and stuff. So all the music comes courtesy of the Free Music Archive at freemusicarchive.org. The intro song is Epic Song by Boxcat Games. The song you're listening to now is Aim is True by Poddington Bear. Links are in the show notes. Be sure to check them out. You can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Acast, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, or wherever you get your podcast. If you've never listened before, please do subscribe. You'll get the next episode right away. If you've been listening for a while, consider leaving a review or sharing it with a friend. All of that really helps. That's it for now. We'll talk to you later in the week. And until then, remember that together, we march on.